title of this session is First Year in College Career Planning. So I hope those that are in attendance, it is your first semester or first year in college, whether you started last spring or this summer. And we're going to go ahead and give students maybe another minute for those that want to attend, and then we'll get started. And while you're all waiting, if you don't mind just popping in the chat, one reason for you attending the workshop today. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Dr. Tiffany Bidding, and I serve as the Associate Director of University Career Services. And I also have Lauren Herman and Priyanka Rout that are my co-facilitators today. And they serve as career counselors within University Career Services. Lauren serves the College of Architecture and Design as well as Exploratory Studies, so those that are undecided. And Priyanka Rout serves students of all majors and specifically the UH Sugar Land site. All right, next slide. Thank you. All right, so for today, we're going to give you a very brief overview of University Career Services. We're going to talk about your experience of navigating your first and what that may look like and mean to you. We'll talk a lot about career exploration, so spend some time exploring your interests, your values, and what that looks like in terms of major and career. And then we'll also talk about feeling a part of campus and gaining experience and getting connected. All right, so in terms of ways to connect with a career counselor, virtual chats is one of our many services, but for these, you do not need an appointment. You can meet with us anytime Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon and 2 to 4. And this would be that time, let's say, if you maybe need a resume approved because you're looking for that on-campus job opportunity, an internship, or you just need a quick resource. There's always someone available to you. We also can connect you to resources that are focused more on career and major exploration. And all you'll do is select that red Get Help live chat button on our website. And from there, someone will instantly answer any questions that you have. In addition to that, we have 30-minute career counseling appointments that are available to all students. And we have a career counselor that's dedicated to each college. And so it's really nice because you can meet with someone, whether it's I have a major, just don't know what all I want to do with it, or I'm unsure of what major to settle on, and we can help you navigate that. All right, and so one of our main resources, which is more of a one-stop shop, is Cougar Pathway. And so you all are familiar with it. You had to RSVP to get the link to the session today. And so Cougar Pathway, in addition to our workshops and access links, you can also go in here and schedule your appointments with the career counselor. You can also see if you're interested in going to your first career fair, what employers are coming to meet just with you and you with students. But this is also where you're going to come in and upload a resume or a cover letter. And get feedback on what to do to make it more of a polished document before submitting to employers. The other piece that's like the second to the last bullet, on-campus interviews. We won't talk as much about that today, but just know this is also opportunity in Cougar Pathway for you to schedule on-campus interviews with an employer that may be looking for students that are seeking internships.
All right, so this is Priyanka speaking. These are some of the goals that we hope to cover today as part of this workshop. So we hope that you walk away understanding the process of career planning, what it involves, and the role that you have to play in it. We are also hoping that you learn about some campus resources that are available to you in terms of how you can get engaged, how you can feel more involved and a part of the campus. And then finally, we want you to learn about how you can gain experience in order to meet your career goals. So we will talk a little bit about internships and career fairs. So we would like to begin our presentation today by learning a little bit about who you are. So if you have any device available for you, for example, a phone or your laptop, please go to the website srs.campuslabs.com. And then it'll give you the option to type your name. So it doesn't have to be real. You can type whatever you want. And then you have to enter a Connect ID that you see on the screen, which is 1261. We will give you about 3 to 4 minutes to complete this, and then we can take a look at the results. So please go to the website srs.campuslabs.com. We'll wait for just 1 more minute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So let's take a look at who is here in the room. Okay, let me just give me 1 moment. All right, here we go. So it looks like we have some freshmen and a few graduate students with us today. We have students from the exploratory studies, from engineering, from College of Architecture, from okay. Most of everybody who's here today lives off campus. And then finally, one word that describes how you're feeling about this semester: fantastic, excited, dream chasing, nervous, pivotal. So we really appreciate you sharing these responses with us, because it's definitely going to help us guide our presentation today. And, we'll make sure to keep these points in mind that a lot of you here are freshmen or graduate students. You are from different colleges on campus, and all of you live off campus. So I guess we'll have to focus more on those opportunities of how we can get you engaged. Awesome. So, Lauren, do you want to share the PowerPoint?
It looks like it's thinking, it's loading. Sorry, give me 1 second. One thing we'll talk about is adjusting to new experiences, and technology has definitely been one. So thank you all for your patience with this. All right. And, all right. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about navigating your first and what that means. Like I just mentioned, for me, kind of adjusting to technology has been a new kind of experience to navigate over the past 6 months. But we want to think about really the first time we do anything, there's a variety of different feelings. So like some of the feelings that you've all shared when talking about, one word that describes how you're feeling about the semester. I saw the word nervous was one, right? Excited. So there's all these different feelings that we have anytime we kind of start a new experience. And it's absolutely true and applies anytime we are starting a new experience, like being at a new university. So being at the University of Houston, being virtual. These are all just things we want to acknowledge that anytime we're going through something that's new to us, it can feel kind of uncertain. We might still be excited, but we may not have past experiences to draw on of like how to navigate this new thing because it's so new, right? So really with today, we want to talk a little bit about how to navigate these new things, these uncertain times and kind of uncertainty we might experience when going through a new experience like being new to the University of Houston. And then we'll talk more today about how you can use this really resilience of going through these new experiences to help you with connecting to resources and really have a strong, successful first year at the University of Houston. So some of these first few experiences you might have is, looks like everybody is living off campus, so this may not be your first time living away from home. Maybe it is if you're living with some other people besides your family as you're starting the school year. But you also might be new to, for example, the whole schedule of you're not in, if you were in high school last year, you had a schedule of 7 to 4 or 8 to 4 where you have set times, and now you have a lot of control over your schedule, a lot of control over your time. So managing your time can be something that is new. We also want to acknowledge that it might be new, just like studying for midterms and exams, right? This is a whole new process where your first U of H exam might feel really different than how it has at community college or even in high school too. Similarly with preparing for courses, meeting new people in your classes, right? So we might have, hopefully everyone has already had their first class day at the University of Houston. But that like first time when you're in class, kind of figuring out how to navigate that is something new. Same with meeting new people, going to football games, right? A lot of new experiences that you might be having this year. So we want to think a little bit about one shared experience is everyone has, at this point, had their first class at the University of Houston. So think back to that first day on August 21st or 24th when you're opening your laptop or opening up your device or maybe going in person to class. Think about what that first class was like and what you're feeling. So maybe it was some of those feelings that were shared earlier, like being nervous, excited. And feel free to add to the chat too if you feel comfortable sharing what you're feeling at that time. And then we also want to think about, looking back, now it's been about 4 weeks since the first class day. What, if anything, would you do differently? So looking back to how you navigated that first week, what might be some things that you might think about, like I said, doing a little differently, if anything? And then we also recommend thinking about what's helped you overcome first before. So think about, the first time, maybe your first day of class when you were a freshman in high school. What did that feel like? All these new people, a new environment. So think back to, how you've overcome those first new exciting experiences and what helped you then. And we'll give everybody just a couple of minutes in case you'd like to add to the chat and share your experience. It can be really helpful to hear from each other's experiences. So I'll give you a moment to add to the chat if you want to share your experiences with some of these questions. And I should have mentioned, by the way, I'm Lauren Herman. So glad you all are here, but I should have introduced myself earlier. And then Priyanka or Dr. Bidding, if y'all see anything in the chat, just let me know.
Absolutely.
So I'll give an example of one of my first classes in college. So I will say for me, transitioning to the university felt like a really, really big stretch from being in high school. And one of my very first classes was a 9 a.m. class, a 9 a.m. psychology class. And I was in a room of 60 people, which I know there's much bigger classes even, but even just being with a room of 60 was so much bigger than what I'd ever experienced in high school. And I remember thinking, how am I going to meet people? How am I going to join a study group? How are other people going to figure out this whole studying for class university thing? And I remember there being a group of people that would kind of talk to each other and share notes at the front of class. And one of them was a football player for the college I attended. And I remember thinking, this person seems so intimidating because they're a football player. And that person was Emmanuel, or is Emmanuel Acho. So you may or may not know him. He used to be an NFL pro football player. He's now a sports analyst on Fox Sports. But he was in my freshman psychology class, and I still kick myself thinking, why didn't I reach out to talk about like getting study tips together? So when I look back to what I would do differently is I wish I had gotten the courage to reach out to more people, whether it is Emmanuel Acho or just other people in my class. I wish, looking back, that I had had more courage to reach out and ask for help and just connect with other people in my class who are experiencing something similar to me. So just wanted to share that example and would love to hear if anyone else has anything they would like to share.
Lauren, that was a great point. Kaylin Martinez in the chat said that even though her classes were online, she still felt nervous.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I definitely get that. Sometimes it can feel even more nerve-wracking because, especially when our screen's off, it just looks like other names on a screen. It can be hard to connect virtually, for sure. Thanks for sharing that.
And I would also like to add that maybe you may not experience anything right away. Maybe it may take you a few days, a few weeks, or even months until you start feeling unsure. And it's absolutely okay. It's absolutely normal to feel that way. We just want you to remember from this presentation that there is a place you can go to seek support, whether it's career counseling or mental health counseling or academic advisor or whatever help you need. So please remember that it's okay if you're not feeling anything right now, but you may feel something later.
Absolutely. And we hope too that sometimes it can feel new just to even reach out to an academic advisor or a career counselor. And so we hope that this presentation will also help you feel more comfortable to reach out for that support that you might need this year. Absolutely.
And then we have one more person, Kamal. He shared that he's also taking his classes online and he's very excited. He said he's so excited. So thank you, Kamal, for sharing.
That's awesome. Well, let's keep channeling that excitement. I love that. So thinking about beyond your first class even, right? So we're in this semester, and I think about this as like our messy middle. So if you listen to Brene Brown, she's mentioned these kinds of like day two moments, or these moments or experiences that we can get into where we've gone past our first initial experience, but now we're kind of like in it. So I like the metaphor of a roller coaster ride. So you get into the roller coaster, right? The top strap's on, and then all of a sudden the ride starts. And so you're locked into place where the ride is starting. You can't get off of it, but you can't see the end yet. And so just knowing that that's kind of where we are at the semester in this point, and that you know, we are in the semester, we want you to be successful. And so we want to think about, as you are in it, right, preparing for midterms, thinking even about how to prep for picking classes next semester, tools and resources that are available to you that can help you really, again, have a strong, successful first semester and really first year at the University of Houston, as we're all kind of like buckled up into this ride of the semester.
So talking about resources, many times we experience that when students come into our office, they were intending to schedule an appointment with an academic advisor, because they will say, they will ask us, can you tell me what classes to pick for next semester? And that's something that neither a career counselor and many times, sometimes even an academic advisor might not have an answer to. And we'll talk more about that in the career exploration part of this presentation. But there are some really helpful resources right on the UH page that we would like to share with you today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So when you go to the University of Houston website, can y'all see this? Laura,
Yes.
Tiffany? Okay, awesome, thanks. So when you go to the UH page, right under resources for, you click on the current students site. And this is where majority of the things that you need are here. So for example, if you have any questions about your enrollment, your curriculum, Cougar card, transcripts, these are the links over here. If you want to go, if you need help with financial aid, finding scholarships, the links are also again posted here. Our office does help you if you do decide to apply for a scholarship. We do assist you with writing scholarship essays and then also updating your resume. So I strongly encourage you to look at the scholarships, the calendar of different events. We have a career services calendar here, especially so that you know, sometimes it might be hard to keep up with all the events, especially if you have a college-based career center as well. So that's a great resource. And then here are all the academic resources. So if you're thinking about picking a minor or changing your major, all these forms will be over here. If you are looking at dropping a class or withdrawing from a class, there are links for that over here. If you're looking to be a part of let's say, for example, in terms of testing or being a part of the Challenger or the Urban Experience program, all these links you will find under academic resources. And then here are also links if you need to take a shuttle on campus, or if you need to see the map of the campus. So everything you need is here, including eating. So the meal plans, on-campus dining, all the student programs that are available. So when we talk about get plugged or get involved, you know, it says over here, we offer well-rounded areas of interest. So it starts right from academic services to languages to ping pong. So there are so many resources here that you can look at in order to kind of see what you can be doing to be more engaged on campus and gain experience. And then here you will find resources about the health center, the rec center, counseling and psychological services, if you need a security walking escort. So everything is literally on this one page under academics. The next thing that you need to also know about, or which is also important, is about scheduling your appointment with your academic advisor. And so for that, over here, I think I believe, okay, I'm just going to type it here. So you can just type uh.edu/navigate. So this is the, okay, sorry about that. Okay, we're just going to search it here. So Navigate, this is the website you need to go to if you want to schedule an appointment with your academic advisor. So for example, if you have questions about, can I enroll in this course for the spring semester? Or what classes do I need to start enrolling in? What does my degree plan look like? If I want to add a minor, what do I need to do? So for answering all these questions, Navigate is the app that you need to use, and you can find instructions on how to make an appointment on that website, uh.edu/provost/navigate. And then it'll show you all the instructions, how you can schedule your appointment through this platform called EAB. Okay, so please make sure that you familiarize yourself with this, because this is something we strongly encourage you to do, is to meet with your academic advisor, have your plan, know what you're doing, because it's important to kind of have a plan in place. So Lauren, you can share the slides again. Thank you. And so that, kind of leads us creating a plan into career exploration. A lot of college students come in knowing what they want to do, and then we have some that are not sure what they want to do. It's absolutely okay to be, again, in either place, because this is a place for exploration. So before we kind of dive into the process of how do we know what we want to do, or how do we decide or choose, we do want to focus on a few myths that students kind of maybe hear about from their peers, or may have, read about it somewhere. So one of the things is that there is one best suited career for you. So is this true or false? The answers are right there, but it is false, because as we can see that the average millennial is estimated to work in 9 different industries. So what we want you to walk away from here, from college experience, is not just a good GPA, but also to develop those soft skills like the ability to work on teams, critical thinking, problem solving, your communication skills. And so while you're trying to do all these things, you are going to figure out things that you feel you might be more interested in, and things that you may not be so interested in. So right now, we really encourage you to not think about that there is just one way or one career waiting for you out there. The other myth is you have to have a path completely mapped out. We call this a career development process, just because you're always in it, whether you're a student or whether you're a seasoned professional, because all the time you're just thinking about, how can I get better? What can I do more? Is there something else that I like? So there is research out there that shows that on an average, a college student changes their major at least 2 times. So it's okay if you right now know what you want to do, but then along the way you change your mind. Or it's also okay if right now you do not know, or you have no idea of what you want to do, but you're continuing to explore that as you go through college. And we'll talk more in detail about some things you could be doing in that exploration process. And then finally, this myth that you have to find your passion. So, is that true or false? Is it a myth or is it a reality? Y'all can type your answers, but I'll just go ahead and share that yes, it is true that you have to find your passion. You have to try different things. You have to get involved. Our office offers a career assessment if you need a really good starting point. Obviously, it's not magic. It's going to be based on how you answer the questions. So trying to kind of gain that first step for how can where do I start? And also, looking at your passions and things that you really like doing, because there is this thin line where we say that, okay, you may be very good at math, or you may be very good at something, but is that something that you really like and you want to do? Is that something you see yourself doing for maybe a few years of your life? So understanding that is also very important. So once you kind of, uh, anytime you hear something, always make sure that you're finding out what the reality is. And that's something that we want you to take away from this slide.
All right, so as Priyanka was mentioning, there are some key things to be thinking about even now, right? So sometimes students think about career services as a place to go your last year, like right before you graduate, or maybe after you graduate. But really, this process of learning about yourself starts now. And so some things to be thinking about, like she mentioned, are your values. So what's important to you? So these are some questions just to kind of reflect on for yourself. So what are the jobs you've thought about? And what is it about those jobs that sounds meaningful or exciting to you? And who are the people that you admire, and what are the jobs that they have, right? So think about people in your family or family friends. Think about what is it that they do and what is it about what they do that you admire. Part of why this can be helpful is a lot of times if we ask ourselves, what are my values? We may not be able to name them right away, but when we look at others and look at the things that we admire about other people, that actually can kind of say a lot about what we hold to be valuable and what we hold as values. So values, just as an example, could be things like wanting to have some independence in your job. For some people, they want to be their own boss. For some people, it's having a really stable job and steady income. For some people, it's having a community impact or helping other people. So there's a lot of values out there, and everybody's are different, and they change at different points throughout our lives too. But it's an important thing to think about so we can find work that we are passionate about and that is meaningful to us. We're more motivated to do that work. Okay. Another thing that we think about in addition to values are also interests. So like Priyanka mentioned, what is it that you like? Because if you're doing work that maybe you're good at it or it's important to you, but you don't enjoy it, again, we're not going to want to spend as much time on it, and we're not going to be as motivated, and we're not going to be as productive. So some things to start thinking about now are, what are your favorite subjects or have been your favorite subjects? So if you like math, right, what is it you like about math? Is it having clear right or wrong answer, or is it getting to use formulas? Sometimes it's helpful to also think about, what is it we like to do in our free time? So you can even think about, I know a lot of people like, let's say, watching shows. So think about even the shows that you watch. What kind of shows do you find yourself drawn to? So let's say you love watching Law and Order, for example. Maybe there's something about kind of the mystery solving that you really just kind of reels you in. And if that's the case for you, then there might be something about problem solving that is really important for us to keep an eye out for in future majors or careers that you might enjoy. So start thinking now about, how do I like to spend my free time? and what kind of things am I attracted to about what I do in my free time. So whether it is like I said, watching shows, movies, reading certain kind of books, those things can say a lot about our interests. Okay, so things to again start thinking about now. And we also want to think about, kind of related to values, but what are our deal breakers? So is there a certain salary that I need? Do I want to have chances to travel, right? Especially when travel hopefully becomes more accessible to us at some point. Is getting a degree really important to me, or do I want to get a PhD, right? So what level of education is really important to you? Where do you want to live? Is it important for you to be near a family, or are you dying to get to New York? So thinking about these kinds of things can be really helpful for us to also narrow down where we can find opportunities that are going to match with what's important to us. Again, so things to start thinking about even now. And those things might change as you have new experiences, but that's why we also want to encourage you to start getting some experiences and learning about yourself now, so that way you can really make informed decisions about your career kind of as you go throughout your college experience. And then we also want to think about what are some skills or strengths that you want to continue to grow in and really get to utilize. So like Priyanka mentioned earlier, there are some soft skills that we really hope that you get a chance to develop and that are needed for a lot of different industries and a lot of different jobs. So some of them include things like solving problems, working on teams, writing and communication skills, being a leader and taking initiative, having cultural competencies and global fluency, so having knowledge of different cultures and different perspectives, being able to think critically, being able to have a strong work ethic, and even having attention to detail. So these are areas to think about for yourself of, okay, which of these come naturally to me, and which are some that I might want to get a little bit more practice with, whether it's through a class, through a job, but where do I want to kind of grow a little bit more, and how can I look for more opportunities to keep doing that? And that's what we'll talk more about in a little bit with gaining some experience. So you do have opportunities to use these skills or look for those areas to keep building on skills that you want to grow in.
So putting all this information together, you may have realized by now that the academic advisor or the career counselor or nobody else knows the answer for what is a good match for you, or what is it that you need to be doing. It's putting all these pieces of information together, knowing what you like, knowing who you are and what feels comfortable to you, knowing what things are important to you, and then finally what skills you have. So once you explore these areas, once you get more involved, you will gradually be able to find answers to all of your questions. So please remember that the more involved you are, the more initiative you take in doing all these things, the more easier the answers are going to come to you. And there is also research that shows that people who choose majors or who choose careers based on their interest are more likely to be happy. So if you want to be happy, nobody else knows the answer other than you.
All right, so we're going to transition to taking all of those nuggets that Lauren and Priyanka shared about knowing yourself and sharing ways that you can engage with campus, especially since you all shared that you are off campus, you're not living on campus. And so thinking about how, if you're commuting to campus or taking classes online, how you can feel more connected while gaining experience. All right, so when we say getting involved, what does that mean? What does that look like? And so it can vary from student to student. And so going back to some of the pieces that Lauren and Priyanka shared, it really goes back to either knowing yourself or being open to exploring your interests as well. So thinking about, what do you like in the classroom? What subjects do you navigate towards? Lauren even shared an example of what shows do you like to watch, you know? So if any of you have binge watched over the summer, or, you know, when we were all quarantined, what were some of those things that came out? And so thinking about that and connecting that to ways that you can get involved on campus. And so that could be through volunteer opportunities, such as the ones that we have listed here. But the nice thing about University of Houston is that there are thousands of student organizations that are really geared towards your interests and your values. So if some of you on the session today are even thinking about going into health-related careers, but you're not sure what, there's organizations geared toward that, you know, more of the helping professions. If some of you are more on the maybe research or science side of things and purely want to focus on that, there's student organizations that are also geared to that. And so what does that mean, being involved in a student organization? In addition to attending meetings, they tend to have professionals in a variety of industries that have done the work, but that are really there to mentor you and coach you and connect you to what does shadowing look like or working in this environment look like behind the scenes. And so even though we're all virtual, there's still a lot of opportunities from students I know I've been talking to still get connected virtually. And so after this session, if you want to connect with any of us, we can put you in touch with those organizations and leaders on campus to pull you in. All right, and so building on that theme of exploration, you can continue through, Lauren, for the, thank you, little bullet. So when we talk about exploration, what does that mean? You know, getting connected on campus outside of the classroom. And so all of us, including you all have a network that's already at your fingertips. And so from your classes, I know it's only been like 3-4 weeks, but your professors, your advisors, your career counselors that are on this session today also serve as your source of support. And so that is our job. We're here to support you. All you have to do is reach out, you know, whether it's, I had a student already during this session, send me a chat in live time. So I think that's something that you all can take advantage of, is connecting with us. And we'll be sure to provide our email addresses at the end. But also in addition to that, thinking about your classmates. Though your peers that are on this session today that shared, you know, some shared, I'm nervous about online classes. I'm excited. Those are also opportunities to connect, to see, okay, what has worked for you? What are some ways that we can experience this process together as we figure it out? And so you don't have to be all knowing today or even this semester, but at least take those steps to reach out to those that are already surrounding you and are in your spaces to learn more about what it means to explore. And so I think it's the fourth bullet down, just, getting a community, right? So what does your community look like for you? I know it's changed for everyone since we're virtual. Most of us are working from home, or you're taking classes online. So your sense of community is a little bit disjointed. But I think with all of the opportunities that have transitioned to virtual, there is an opportunity to connect with not just professionals, not just your peers, but then also maybe you're a part of a church community, you know? So what does that look like now that you're virtual? And so for me, it goes back to thinking about, what do you value? How do you connect that to your interests? And then how are you going to put that into action, even though we are in this virtual space and it is challenging? And that's what we're here to help you with. Go ahead, Mark. Thank you. And one way you can do that, so we have a formal partnership between University Career Services and the Center for Student Involvement, and it's called the Coog Careers Leadership Program. So even if you're involved in a student organization and thinking about it, never held a leadership title before, responsibility, that's okay. This is really for students that are interested in exploring, similar to you all in the session today. So what it is, whether you attend a workshop similar to, you know, some that we have on our lineup, from resume to career exploration, or attend your first career fair, you get a series of, I would say, points that really lead to a certification towards the end. And the purpose of that is to get you connected, but doing things that will put you on that track to prepare you for that next step, whether it's getting hands-on experience or connecting with professionals in your related field. I'll show you, I'm going to transition to our website in just a moment, just to show you even more details about this program and our workshops that will count towards the track and the certification, but this also lets you get some experience hands-on virtually that will add to your resume. So even though we're all virtual, you still have to be doing those things to build your skills, to explore your interests, to learn more about yourself, and taking those baby steps from semester to semester, especially your first year. One way you can access this is in your Access UH. There's a red Get Involved, one of the many red icons. It's a Get Involved icon. And that's where you're going to go ahead and you can search for Coog Careers Track or Lead UH, and our track will pop up with even more details for you. Okay, and there's really nothing you have to do after you attend a session. I shouldn't say nothing. It's built in. So if you attend a session, whether it's live or it's recorded, just to make sure everyone has access, all you do is provide a little write-up. What were your takeaways from the session? How do you see yourself applying, even though given the one from today, how do you see yourself applying those tips learned into your exploration process? Next slide. All right, so we'll dive a little bit more into that first year experience. One of our resources that we put together, we would like to share with you all, is our career development checklist that was created by the career counseling team. And one of our previous career counselors that's on the call today, Megan Akogero. Within this worksheet, it really breaks it down. All of the nice tips we provided today, but what does that look like? So the first section, exploring yourself, majors and careers, what does that mean? We have an excellent free career assessment or test, some people like to call it, but it's free. It gives you instant access to, if my interests and my personality are social, you know, I'm a helper at heart, what are some recommended majors at the University of Houston? And how does that align with potential occupations or paths that would be a good match for my values and in that work environment? That second section talks about gaining experience, some of the things we just shared, career fairs to meet and greets, gaining research opportunities, which will look different virtual, you know, because of COVID. But we're going to go ahead and transition to our website just to show you a little bit more of what that looks like for you. Okay, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so let me transition to our website. Let me make sure I'm sharing. All right, so you all should be able to see my screen. If you can't, please let us know in the chat. And so this is our homepage. So from University Career Services homepage, we have a whole wealth of services, online services for students. And so under career resources, this is where you'll find our Coog Careers workbook. And so within that, it starts with our career development action plan or checklist that we just shared. There we go. But you should be able to see that a little bit more clearly there. Can everyone see my screen okay? Yep, okay. And so each of the areas that are bolded, they're actually hyperlinks. So they'll take you to additional resources. We didn't get to dive in as much into our online career exploration tools, such as Career One Stop and ONET Online. But just know if you click on this link, it will take you to the hyperlinks and more detailed information for those sections. Some additional pieces that we kind of touched on was job shadowing, but the other side of it is informational interviews. And so if you haven't heard of an informational interview, what it is, it's reaching out to a professional in your field of interest that's doing similar work and asking for maybe a 15-minute chat, even though we're virtual. And so an excellent way is through email or a LinkedIn if you do have an account. And if not, we can help you set one up. We also have pre-selected and pre-made questions for you, going in even more detail about what an informational interview is, how to prepare, what are some questions I should ask someone who's doing the work that I want to do, and this is my first time interviewing someone. And so it'll help keep it very conversational, but also to give you more insight into, if I'm thinking about a field, I haven't had an internship yet, is this something I even want to submit applications for? And sometimes even after that, you don't know until you're in it. And so that's what an informational interview is in a nutshell. And then going a little bit further, we'll talk more about career fairs. And so we do have our first career fair coming up in 2 days. And so within our website, under students, you can select our attend an event section. And this is where you will find all of our upcoming events. So we have workshops and meet and greets and so forth. That far right, if you select the career fairs tab, it will tell you who the career fair is geared towards. This one's for all majors. It's on Wednesday, the 16th from 12 to 4. And we would encourage you to attend, even if you're not looking for a full-time job just yet. You started this your first semester, first year. We still would highly encourage you to attend just to get a feel for, one, what is the career fair if you've never attended before, or if this is your first time attending a virtual career fair in this space and environment. This will be really helpful to kind of work out the jitters, but then also to have less pressure to meet professionals in the industry when you're not as pressured where you have a timeline where I need to find an internship or a full-time position. And so our employers are here to recruit UH students. And so this is a perfect time for you to get connected and get involved that way too. And so if you were to click on, let me go back one, the currently registered employers, it will actually pop out this page here. And the nice thing, this will give you a full list. Right now we have 52 employers that are coming on Wednesday to recruit UH students. And it's a nice diverse pool of recruiters. If you were to click on those, you can do a little bit more research, but as you can see, there's a blend of education here, private industries, technology, and so forth, okay? So it's a nice, good mix for everyone. And even if you're thinking about exploring opportunities for next summer, so thinking 2 semesters in advance, that's where that checklist will come in. This is a great opportunity just to get your feet wet. All right, so I'm gonna pop on back to our website here and show you a couple more tabs here. So our workshops, this is where you can view all of our upcoming workshops here, and including the ones that were today, but date, time, descriptions are all there for you all. So even if you're not logged in the Cougar Pathway, just know that this information is also available to you if you just want to browse through here. And then the last piece I just want to show you, if you want to, after today, want to make an appointment with one of us or your career counselor for your college, we provide the steps here within our appointment scheduling instructions. Some things to know before your appointment, which is very important. And then if you are unable to, or you don't want an appointment, just have a quick question, this is the information to meet with us during our 15-minute chat sessions, and a nice little brief list of some of the ways that a career counselor can continue to help you once you do decide on a major and still exploring your career.